So as I stated previously in the previous model, that is, or the previous module, excuse me, that is my basic steps for creating applications. Um, but what I want you to do, right, the reason why this module is here, the reason why this entire course is here, is so that you do what I do, but more efficiently, right? Because it took me a nice little while to figure this out. The first application I created was FastTag, and I created that application with within Replit, and that was the first application that I actually had work relatively well. Um, Now I initially began creating that before I got Replit, so really, I just took that code when I downloaded Replit, or when I signed up for Replit, and expanded that code further within Replit. Um, but the goal of this module is simple. I want you to be able to pick projects that you can finish. And then I want you to finish them, like I said, efficiently. Now, if you don't do that, you'll waste time, you'll lose momentum, you'll quit. And so here's how we're going to approach it step by step. I want you to choose something personal that you need, in the app format, or something you believe others need. If the project isn't useful, interesting, or relevant, don't start. Just don't start. If you don't think that you have the attention span to be engaged with this project for uh, longer than a week, don't start. It's not going to take you a week to make an application. It really isn't. But it could, right? Um, FastTag was one of those applications that it definitely took longer than a week for me to create. Vocal Verdia is definitely an application that it took me longer to make. But some applications like Proximity Matrix, you'll be able to make in an hour and a half. So with that being said, like I said, as long as you have the attention span for it, and you believe in it, maybe take a chance on it. Now, I want you to also take the time to estimate feasibility, just like I did, right? Like I told you. Can it be built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? That's the number one thing. If it requires complicated APIs or a little bit of Python that you're not really ready to handle, skip it. Okay? I'm telling you how to work with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so, since you'll be working with that, excuse me, getting a little on the sleepy side, but since you'll be working with that, um, anything beyond that, at least right now, in the beginning, is unnecessary. Um, you want to be able to do it quick so you could test it. And when you do test it, you want to be able to test it relatively quickly. You don't want to have to download any fancy software or hardware, or get any hardware for what it is that you're trying to do. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, once compiled onto a simple TXT file, can be rendered in a browser. There are also platforms like, I'm going to have them listed, but there are also platforms like One Compiler. There's platforms like Web3 Schools. There's platforms like CodePen that allow you to test your code very easily. And without even logging in, actually. Okay. What they're doing with your code afterwards, who cares? Okay. Really, who cares? You can't keep being afraid of, oh, what if someone takes my idea? If your idea was that good, it'd be taken already. That is the truth. Okay. And if it's that good, and you are the only person that executes on it, or you are the first to execute on it, that's even better. So be the first to execute on it. I want you to also assess execution simplicity, right? Break the project into its main components. Look at how many moving parts there are. The fewer moving parts there are, so the fewer steps that have to be taken, especially within the algorithm that you're creating, then the faster completion is going to be. The more parts there are, the more things that have to occur before you get your final output, the harder the coordination is going to be. If the idea is too abstract or confusing to explain, it's probably too complicated to start right now. And remember that you're explaining this to AI, so it can misconstrue certain words into other words. So it will behoove you to speak slowly if you are like using something like a talk to text or something like that, right? Speak slowly, speak clearly, and really think about what it is that you're saying as you say it to the AI. Okay. Um, like I said earlier, please decide on a timeline. Give yourself approximately 3 days, 3 days maximum to get a variable version or a minimum viable version up and running, please. If by the third day it's not functioning, please stop and move to a simpler project. This does not mean that you delete the project. It just means that you're going to pivot, or you're going to come back to it once you have gained more knowledge and more talent.